Motivation is garbage. You've been lied to. All those posters, speeches, hype videos, telling you to wait for the spark, chase the fire. Pump yourself up there, selling you an illusion. Because the hard truth is this: motivation doesn't last. Motivation feels amazing in the moment, but disappears exactly when you need it. And entire generations have failed to reach their dreams because they kept waiting for motivation to save them. Let me tell you right now, it never will. Think back to the last time you felt fired up. You watched a motivational clip at 2 a.m. and thought, tomorrow is the day I change my life. And tomorrow came. You woke up, hit snooze, scrolled, told yourself, not feeling it, maybe I'll start Monday. That's the motivation trap. It spikes dopamine short-term, then leaves you lower than before. You think you're broken because you can't stay motivated. But you're not broken. The strategy is, motivation was never designed to sustain you. It's an emotion, and emotions don't pay bills, build muscles, or finish businesses. Here's what really happens biologically. Motivation is tied to dopamine, the neurotransmitter of desire. Your brain releases it when you imagine reward, but once the spike fades, so does your drive. That's why motivation is unreliable. It's like sugar. Great rush, bigger crash. The brain needs structure habits, identity, systems, not endless sugar highs. This is why bodybuilders train every day through boredom, why entrepreneurs grind when inspiration is gone. They know motivation is garbage. So what works instead? Discipline, systems, identity, environment, feedback. The everyday architecture that carries you without needing to feel hyped. Discipline isn't sexy. Systems aren't glamorous. But they're the bricklayers of success. When I first ditched the motivation drug, I tested something radical. Instead of telling myself, I'll work out when I feel like it, I designed a non-negotiable system. 6 a.m., gym clothes on pillow, alarm across the room. Even half asleep, I stumbled into the plan. Was I motivated? Nope. But the system dragged me anyway. 10 workouts later, habits began firing. A month later, autopilot kicked in. Success wasn't hyped, it was structured. This is the first replacement for motivation. Systems over feelings. Author James Clear explains it perfectly. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Motivation comes from goals. Execution comes from systems. Second, replacement. Identity over intensity. Motivated people chase massive bursts. I'll start the perfect diet, crush 2 hours daily, hustle 24/7, rich overnight. By week 2, exhaustion. Identity thinkers don't do that. They don't rely on feelings. They ask, who am I? If the answer is, I am the type of person who trains daily, you'll train regardless of motivation. If you call yourself a reader, you'll read. Psychology proves. Humans act consistent with self-image. Change the identity, change the autopilot. Third, replacement. Environment design. Motivation tries to fight bad environments with willpower. That's like rowing a canoe against a tsunami. You scroll because your phone blasts notifications. You eat junk because it's in your kitchen. Motivation says, resist temptation. Systems say, remove temptation. Delete the app, change the room, restructure the cues. Winners, Don T, rely on resistance. They design their environment so the right choice is easy and the wrong choice is hard. That isn't motivation. That's strategy. Fourth, replacement. Feedback loops. Motivation is inconsistent because there's no sustainable reinforcement. Real reinforcement comes from progress tracking. Write habits down, create streaks, measure effort, not feelings. Science shows dopamine locks in harder when you see proof of progress. That fuels the next rep, the next write, the next build. Discipline compounded becomes momentum. I ran a 90-day no motivation test. Every day, I committed to small systems. Write 500 words, no matter the mood. Hit the gym 3 days, no matter the mood. Invest $10 weekly, no matter the mood. Some days I felt inspired, most days I didn't. But after 90 days, I didn't care about feeling motivated. I had evidence. Evidence stacked my identity into I am disciplined. And here's the twist: the more I stopped chasing motivation, the more momentum gave me actual motivation. That's the paradox. Motivation isn't the starter. It's the byproduct. Action first, motivation second. Look at Navy SEALs training. They don't pipe motivational speeches while freezing in the ocean. They build mental toughness by focusing on the next 10 seconds, the next breath. One instructor said, "You can rely on being motivated to hold your buddy's life in combat. You rely on training and discipline. They eliminate the need for feelings, because success requires action, even when you feel broken." Or look at entrepreneurs. They don't build billion-dollar companies by constantly feeling motivated. They experience constant doubt, market crashes, idea rejections. They act anyway. Musk himself admits he gave Tesla and SpaceX a 10% chance of success. That's not motivational optimism. That's cold, disciplined persistence in spite of emotion. Motivation is garbage because it sells you the idea that you act when you feel good. Winners act regardless of the feeling. They reduce reliance on emotion and increase reliance on habit and structure. So if motivation is garbage, what actually works? Let's distill it. 1. Clarity. Know exactly the behavior, not the vague dream. Not get fit, right? 20 push-ups every morning before shower. 2 systems. Build scaffolding. Q gives action, gives reward. Gym bag by door. Alarms across room. Clear triggers that move you without mood. 3. Identity. Label yourself. I don't smoke, not I'm trying to quit. I read daily, not I want to be a reader. 4. Environment. Make frictionless good, friction heavy, bad. Fruit on counter, junk, out of house, book on pillow, phone in another room. 5. Feedback. Track streaks. Celebrate progress. Gamify the grind. When your brain sees evidence, it fuels discipline. 6. Patience. Compounding takes time. Motivation lies results. Now, real psychology says, repetition ingrains. Stay the course while emotions fluctuate and autopilot takes over. By month 3 of systems-based living, the truth slapped me. I didn't need to feel motivated anymore. My habits carried me. Like brushing teeth, you don't need hype music to do it. It's coding, automatic. That's how success should work. So, let me be blunt. Stop waiting to feel. Stop expecting motivation to change your life. It won't. It never has. Every person you admire didn't get there with endless sparks of inspiration. They got there because their psychology was rewired into identity, habits, and structure. They built a machine that carried them. That means you don't have to wait for lightning anymore. You already have the tools. Start small. Repeat daily. Shape identity, design environment, track feedback, trust compounding. In 1 year, your autopilot will be coded for success. And you'll laugh at the old you that thought motivation was the answer. Motivation is garbage. Systems are gold. Identity is steel. Action is oxygen. Build those and success won't be a mood anymore. It'll be your default.